Tesla has entered a new phase. For years, the market rewarded Tesla for its vision. Today, the market wants proof. The story alone is no longer enough. And when you look at this week's news carefully, you can start to see that shift happening in real time. Hi, this is Ken. This week brought several Tesla headlines that, on the surface, may seem unrelated. The stock moved in a narrow range. There were signs of slowing demand in China, and we also saw news about leadership changes related to the Robotaxi program. If you just look at those individually, it might feel a little concerning, but at the same time, something very different is happening underneath the surface. FSD could soon receive approval in Europe. Cybertruck demand appears strong enough that delivery timelines are being pushed further out, and Tesla's energy business is quietly expanding into infrastructure that may support the AI economy. When you put all of these pieces together, a bigger picture begins to emerge. So today, I want to step back and analyze what this week's Tesla news really tells us about where the company is heading next. Let's start with the stock. This week, Tesla traded roughly in a range between $400 and $430. Early in the week, the price hovered around $410. At one point, it climbed near $415, but toward the end of the week, it briefly dropped below $400. From a chart perspective, this is not particularly strong momentum. And when you compare Tesla to other AI-related companies this year, the difference becomes even more noticeable. Companies like Nvidia have reported strong earnings and their stock prices have surged. Tesla, on the other hand, is frequently described as an AI company, yet the stock has not experienced the same explosive move. So the natural question is this: why isn't the market valuing Tesla like other AI leaders? The answer may actually be quite simple. The market is now asking Tesla for proof. Robotaxi is not yet operating commercially at scale. Optimus is not yet in mass production. And FSD revenue, while growing, is not yet a dominant part of Tesla's financial statements. In other words, the market already understands Tesla's story. Now it wants to see the numbers. This transition from expectation to proof may be one of the main reasons Tesla stock is currently trading in a range rather than trending aggressively upward. Now let's move to one of the more interesting developments this week: FSD. There were reports suggesting that Tesla may introduce voice command functionality into the FSD experience. At first glance, that might sound like a small feature, but I actually think this could be a very important shift. Up until now, even with advanced driver assistance, drivers often still interact with the screen, changing navigation, adjusting routes, confirming actions. These typically require touch input. But imagine a different interaction model. You simply say, "Park here," or "Turn right at the next intersection," or "Take me home." If the system understands those commands and executes them reliably, the entire driving experience changes. You are no longer controlling the car through physical inputs. You are communicating with it. This is closer to how we interact with intelligent systems in the AI era. And what's interesting is that Tesla appears to be focusing not just on the idea of full autonomy someday, but also on making everyday driving gradually easier. This is a very software-oriented mindset. Instead of waiting for one giant breakthrough, you continuously improve the experience step by step. And over time, those small improvements compound into something transformative. Another major development this week involves FSD in Europe. According to statements from Elon Musk, there is a possibility that FSD could receive approval in the Netherlands as soon as next month. Now, Europe is historically one of the most cautious regions when it comes to autonomous driving regulations. That is one of the reasons FSD deployment there has been slower compared to North America. But regulatory approvals often work like dominoes. Once one country approves a new framework, other countries in the region begin to evaluate similar policies. So if FSD is approved in the Netherlands, it may not just be a Dutch story, it could become a European story. At the same time, we are also seeing early FSD testing activity in places like the UAE. Taken together, these developments suggest that FSD may be entering a new stage, not just technological development, but global expansion. And once software like FSD begins scaling internationally, the economic implications can change very quickly. Next, let's talk about Cybertruck. This week, there was interesting news regarding the approximately $59,990 Cybertruck variant. Originally, some delivery timelines pointed toward 2026. Now, it appears that deliveries for certain configurations may extend into 2027. At first glance, a longer delivery timeline might sound negative, but in reality, it can mean something very different. It may simply mean demand is stronger than expected. Remember, the broader EV industry right now is going through a period of intense price competition. Many automakers are lowering prices in order to stimulate demand, yet Cybertruck appears to be experiencing the opposite dynamic. Waiting lists are extending, and Tesla has even signaled the possibility of price increases. Generally speaking, companies raise prices only when demand is strong enough to support it. So, in the North American market at least, Cybertruck demand may be stronger than many analysts expected. But there is another angle here that I think is even more interesting. Tesla vehicles are increasingly behaving less like traditional cars and more like technology platforms. A good example is the active noise cancellation feature expected for Cybertruck. This system electronically reduces cabin noise and creates a quieter interior environment. What makes it interesting is that the hardware is already installed in the vehicle. The feature can be activated through a software update. In other words, Tesla can improve the product after it has already been sold. This is much closer to the smartphone model. You buy the device once, but the capabilities continue to expand over time through software. That fundamentally changes the economics of the automotive business. Instead of a one-time transaction, the product becomes a continuously evolving platform. Now, let's zoom out even further and talk about Tesla Energy. One of the quieter stories this week involved megapack deployments connected to AI-related infrastructure. There are reports of projects tied to AI data center expansion, including developments in places like Brazil. This is an important trend to watch. As artificial intelligence grows, so does the need for computing power. And as computing power increases, electricity demand rises dramatically. The AI era is not just about chips and software. It is also about energy. And Tesla is one of the few companies that sits at the intersection of both worlds. Megapack systems can stabilize grids, store renewable energy, and support large-scale infrastructure like data centers. So Tesla may not only participate in the AI economy through software and autonomy, it may also participate as a power infrastructure provider. Of course, not all news this week was positive. There are signs that demand in China may be softening somewhat. Financing campaigns have been extended, and delivery wait times have shortened in certain regions. There was also news about a leadership departure related to the Robotaxi program. For a project that many investors consider central to Tesla's future valuation, that kind of headline can attract attention. But transitions like this do not necessarily mean the program is in trouble. Sometimes leadership changes occur, when a project moves from the early concept stage to the execution stage. The skills needed to build an idea are not always the same skills needed to scale it. So, this may simply reflect Tesla entering a new operational phase. If we step back and summarize this week, several patterns become clear. FSD appears to be moving from North America toward global deployment. Cybertruck demand remains strong enough to push delivery timelines further out. Tesla vehicles are evolving into software platforms that improve over time, and Tesla Energy is expanding into infrastructure that may power the AI economy. At the same time, the market is becoming more demanding. Investors want numbers. How many robotaxis will actually operate? How many Optimus robots will be produced? How large will the mega pack business become? Tesla is no longer just a company of bold promises. It is becoming the company that must deliver measurable proof. And historically, that transition is one of the most important stages in the life of any transformational company. For long-term investors, the key may not be reacting to every headline. It may be understanding the broader direction. Where Tesla is today and where it is trying to go. Because when you look at this week carefully, even without a dramatic announcement, a lot of important signals appeared, and those signals suggest that Tesla's next chapter may already be beginning. If you found this analysis helpful, please consider supporting the channel with a like. On this channel, I share daily insights about Tesla, AI, and the future of technology. And if you'd like to follow Tesla's journey together from an investor's perspective, feel free to subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.